I came across a drifting ship. I took a look inside. I found a note that someone wrote that said, take her for a ride. I set a course for sights unseen, went out to open sea. To my surprise, a bunch of sailors joined along with me. Now we're sailing on the mystery ship, and all you gotta do is join our trip. There isn't any cost of membership. All the sailors here are really hip. I'm the captain of the mystery ship, and I'm a-calling all aboard our trip. I'm really hoping that you'll enjoy it up on the mystery ship. So bring a friend and come along with us aboard the mystery ship. Duska. That means I better get the hell on camera. All right. Knock those waves down to just a dull roar. How are you doing out there, my friends? It is wonderful to make it back. Man, what a freaking rough little Friday for me. Whoop. Can you hear my phone going off in the background? It's because I specifically wanted to send some daggers towards my friend Bad Zoot to make her laugh. Remind her of the old days and quite frankly, chat. Yes. Mammy. All right. Yes, the champions over there, they're doing one of these right now. Yep, but they're very good about it. They're not rubbing it in people's faces. Looking around the horn, we are definitely live at D-Live. That is a beautiful thing. Twitch is twitching that itch. That's for show. Faux show. Beautiful picture over there. Cannot deny that. Over at Rumble, we've got, where's my content? There it is. There it should be. And we're live, and there's people there, so that's always a blessing. Pilled Foxhole, the home of free speech in America. Also, the only home of the Foxhole Squares, which will be on tomorrow night. It starts at 7 p.m. Pacific and 10 p.m. Eastern. And folks, I am telling you, it has been a labor. It has been a labor of love. But just this past week, we resolved the final issues. It took literally getting under the hood of Sandra's computer with a couple of extremely savvy computer guys. You know, those young kids. Those kids. Remember when you had teenage kids and you were just on your computer? I'm talking about like the AOL days, you know. Back when you had to get the handshake and that, you know, when you had to, before even DSL, you know, and you barely knew how to run your computer, and you have your 9-year-old kid come in and, Dad, get out of the way. Click, 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 done. And I'm like, how did you do that? It takes too long to explain. Yeah, just like that. just like that.
Yes. Anyway, these young whippersnappers, they're probably 40. They're probably 40 and just so well versed in. They looked at the frame rate, how many frames per second that we were broadcasting at. They looked at the bit rate of the audio and they said the reason your show is chipmunking is you have such a high frame rate. You're showing so many frames per second that the audio is fighting like hell to catch up to it. Lower this, lower that. And my goodness, Sandra did a test on Wednesday that looked just like butter. I've never, it's the show I always dreamed we would have. So please, I invite you tomorrow night, tune in to the Foxhole Squares. It's going to be a flawless production. Finally. Took 11 weeks to freaking get it there, but we're there. We are there. There's also going to be some very new surprises. I can't let the cat out of the bag. All I can say is it will only, unlike the past few weeks where it was broadcast on D Live and a bunch of others, it will only be on the Foxhole tomorrow night. Only on the Foxhole. So please, come and join us. And seriously, if you've ever considered being a contestant, now is the time to say, Zoe, show me, how do I do it? All you need is a phone. If you have a phone with a camera, you can be a contestant, and even more so than that, if you are someone who just prefers to not show your face, this coming weekend on the Foxhole Squares is called Anonymity Weekend. Anonymity Weekend. The 4 stars who are visiting our show, every one of them has never shown their face, ever. And they're not going to tomorrow night. And even for more fun, the 2 contestants won't be showing their faces. So whatever excuses you've had for not being a contestant on this show, you've just run out of them, okay? You've just run out of them. Please, I beg of you. Zoso dude at Proton Mail, say, Zoe, I want to win some gold pills. Get me on the air. It's that easy. Zoso dude at protonmail.com. Okay, all right, enough of that. Why was I so late this evening? It's because I worked. Oh, God. I just got handed a second project. What can I say? I guess they know I have enough talent to run 2 jobs at the same time. There's another job just about 3-4 miles up the road, working on the city hall, and I know everyone at the Grants Pass City Hall because they were my client before. I've built things for the city of Grants Pass, so. They handed me another set of drawings that said, yeah, you're going to be running both jobs at the same time. Okay. So I'm getting ready to go home, and I glance up at the clock, and I see 5:15. And if I was sitting in the car with the engine running, it is 47 minutes door to door, let alone having to stop a couple of places on the way home. I'm sorry. I don't like being late. And the topper of them all was I went to a little Mexican restaurant out there today. And, man, I'm telling you, about an hour after lunch, I'm feeling this little volcano going off. And, man, I'm digging in my truck, and man, way down in the bottom of my console in between the seats of my Jeep, there they were, just a couple of small Rolaids chewables. That tided me over. It tided me over, but on the way home I had to stop and get more. I'm really kind of fighting it right now. I almost called it on the event of my stomach. But I'm going to tough it through. I'm here with you, and I'm happy to see your smiling faces. Let's say some hellos to the beautiful people pouring into the mystery ship. Willie Fixit is in the house. My buddy, SRG Sparky. See that beautiful wheel back there? Courtesy, SRG Sparky. Due Diligence is in the house. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Girl Patriot is with us. Albina 842. Great to have you with us. Bender to no one. What's up, my friend? Hope all is good in your world. Hope all is wonderful in your world. Safety Net checking in, saying her hellos to the other side, spreading it around. And there's a number of other people who got here early, even before I was on the air. Did I see Crazy Chuck with a K? I did indeed. Chuck, hope you're doing marvelously, my friend. All right, jumping to the end of that list. Zoom in the house. Can't miss him. Zoom. Willie, fix it. There's just something wrong about that sticker, buddy. There's just something wrong about that sticker of the crashing airplane. Wow. What can I say? Okay, over at Rumble, we have 5 people rumbling. Whoever you are, I freaking love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much, my friends, for being aboard the mystery ship. We're going to laugh and have we're going to look at some crazy old shit tonight, okay? Zoso is feeling in a little bit of a nostalgic mood, and tonight I'm looking back at some of the items that used to be commonplace in the 1970s that you couldn't do this today. You couldn't do this today. They would shoot you. They would. I'm taking you back on a trip, baby. I'm taking you back on one of my famous trips. Okay, we got people pouring in over at the Tube. I bitch slap Satan. Do you really? Upside the head? Just let it rip? Huh? Rain Cry in the house. Good to have you. Wonderful to see you, my friends. Wonderful to have you aboard. I'm freezing my ass off. I am freezing my ass off. I got to turn my heater on. Damn it. We had the most gorgeous freaking weather this week. Monday was 76 degrees. Tuesday was 81 degrees. I was kicking myself in the ass for not riding my motorcycle to work. Wednesday, I got to work, and it was just kind of slightly overcast, but by noon, I come out of my trailer and the wind is blowing and it's cold. Wednesday, in the middle of the day, it dropped 15 freaking degrees between 11:30 and 1 o'clock. I froze my freaking took us up right now. I can't feel my fingers. It's so cold in here. But I can't miss another show. I cannot afford to miss another show. I won't. I simply won't. Wonderful to see you guys hanging out over at YouTube. Let us move on to the champions. The champions, folks. And here they are. Syllabor, Jayla17, Artist 61, Lynn Winters, Spudley, Val Kimber. Good to see you, Val. Bad Zoot. There are every manner. Willie Fixit. There's every manner of winner over there. And they're not, they're good winners. They're good winners. They're proud of their crown. They hadn't had the crown in a couple of months. It went to Foxhole. It went to YouTube. Finally, DLive won it back. They've won it back again. Someone is texting me. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Coffee Talk with Sandra. We are going to have a wonderful show. Seriously. You're going to enjoy every minute of it. You're going to be thankful that you showed up. Zoe is going to take you on a little tour of yesteryear and tell you some stories, and you're going to go, man, I remember that. Mark my words. Mark my words. You're going to have a good time. You are going to enjoy the show this evening. I promise you. All right. It's time for Zoe. Time for Zoe to turn the volume up. There we go. And Here's your chance to do that voodoo that you do. If you have to take the dog outside, if you have to top off your drink, or if perhaps you have to go find a corner of the yard like I do, this is your opportunity. I'm running just around the backside of the garage for about 2 minutes. It'll only take 45 seconds, but thank God I'm giving you 2 minutes. Okay? I'll see you on the other side of this video. I'm very glad you're here. You're going to have fun. Thanks for being here. It's your brother Zoe on the Mystery Ship. I just love that video. I'm sorry, but I do. Friends from just all over the spectrum that was collected over the last 4 years. Those pictures are from just all over the place. Every now and then, folks, you know me. I just like to wax nostalgic for whatever reason. Something. I'll pick up something like this right here, and I'll say, "Son of a bitch." Can you read that one? Elton John's greatest hits. Do you remember when this was the preferred way to listen to music in your car? I mean, I had boxes of these things filled, 3 boxes with these. Let's see what songs are on here, just for the fuck of it. Rocket Man, Benny and the Jets, Candle in the Wind, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, sorry. Border Song, Crocodile Rock, Your Song, Daniel, Honky Cat, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. That's a great, I gotta put that in the Lincoln. Actually, so does my Jeep. My Jeep has not only a cassette player, but it also has a CD player. Stock factory. Cassette and CD player. That's the benefit of driving an older vehicle. But this also would fit very nicely right in the Lincoln. I'm going to have to put that in there. So, you know me. I'm doing what I do. And I come across these crazy videos, and it takes me back. It just takes me back to when I was young, and I didn't have any worries, didn't have any cares, nothing. No worries or cares. And I started flashing back to the things we did in our youth. The things we did as kids that were, I mean, just perfectly acceptable. Perfectly acceptable back in the day. Like this right here. Like this right here, people. You see this? Bunch of kids playing on railroad track. Kids playing on railroad tracks. Sitting there, screwing around. Didn't mean anything to you. You weren't really hurting anybody. You're just, that's all you were. You were kids playing on railroad tracks. Now, where I lived in the San Fernando Valley, we had a park. If you went all the way out the end of Devonshire to the far west end of the San Fernando Valley, there was a place called Chatsworth Park. Chatsworth Park. And if you delved deep into the park, there was a short little 4-foot tall fence, okay? And it had a giant hole cut in it, and kids had pried the cyclone fence open so we could get back there because there were great rocks to climb. And, you know, I mean, yes, there were the sprawling, beautiful lawns with the giant trees in the lower part of the park. But who hung out there? We went and got stoned and crawled all over the rocks of the mountain, and there was a mountain of rock that had a tunnel carved through it. And they had, if this was the train tracks, they had hollowed out the inside of the cavern. And the tunnel it wasn't tremendously long. I want to say maybe 1,000 feet. Yeah. Like just under a quarter of a mile. But the big dare to everybody was to go in the tunnel and press yourself against the side walls when the train would go by, because there was only like maybe, I'm sure it's probably more like 4 feet, but at the time it seemed like there was only 18 inches between you and the train's going by at about 30 miles an hour. And the wind was blowing your hat would blow off and get run over by the train. And of course the fun of putting pennies or nickels on the tracks and watching them get smashed to smithereens. And then we were bad kids. We were really bad kids. If you climbed up to the top of the opening, the tunnel opening, you could see the top of the train as it went by, and we would wait for the engineer's car to go by, and we would, 3 or 4 of us would roll the biggest damn rock you ever saw, and we would just wait. We would lay in wait until that train started, and then we'd roll it together. We would roll this massive rock over the side and boom, boom, boom. It would land on the fans and stuff on top of the car. Conductor screaming and yelling. And sometimes he would actually stop the train and we would just go. I mean, yeah, there's nothing faster than a kid scared of getting hauled to the cops by doing things that he shouldn't have been doing. And I was one of those kids. All right, so if you played on train tracks as a kid, if you grew up playing on train tracks as a kid and thought nothing of it, I want you to put an X in the chat right now. Because I'm telling you, that was just like good old American fun. All right? There was nothing wrong with it. Playing on the train tracks. Do you know that today, by today's standards, you are not allowed to play on the train tracks? You are absolutely not allowed. It is against the law. It is against the law to play on train tracks. You can be fined. You could be taken to jail. You are no longer are you allowed to play on train tracks. What the hell are they doing to us? Anyway, seriously, I'm pissed about this. I'm pissed. Taking away a piece of my youth. The two Utes. Oh, look at all these kids. Willie Fix-It played on train tracks. Oh, look at these kids. Here we go. Q Magoo, I Bitch Slap Satan, played on train tracks. Naughty Girls, Norma Williams. Norma played on train tracks. Look at that. How about you Rumblers? Starface. Hey, buddy. Good to see you, my man. Good to have you over there. Thanks for being here. Oh, look at this. M1911 Zoom, the Owl Flash, Secret Weapon, Bender to No One, Girl Patriot, all of them. They all played on train tracks. What the heck, man? I mean, it's just part of being an American. It's just part of being a freaking American. You know what I mean? All right, now this one blows my mind. I'm going to have to do a little bit of background on this one. You got to give me half a second because when I came across this, I had to stop for a second and go, wait a minute. That's right. I remember this. So give me half a second. I have to do a little Googling. Okay. This is going to be worth it. Okay, so this is crazy. Okay, this is absolutely crazy. But back in the day, folks, back in the late 1970s. Now, I lived in California. I lived in California in the 1970s, and I had to wait. I had to wait until my birthday in the year 1980 when I turned 21 so that I could buy alcohol. But I had cousins and I had friends who lived in other states. And in the mid-70s, there was a law passed, and it said that they lowered the drinking age to the age of 18, because the way they saw it is if you were old enough to enlist and possibly get sent to Vietnam and lose your life, if you were old enough to be responsible enough to vote at the age of 18, then by all means, you should be able to drink. Now, not all states complied. California was not one of them. But do you know that there were 39 states that allowed drinking at either the age of 18, 19, or 20 in the 1970s, okay? I mean, hang on a second. I got a little video to go with this. While I read off these states. This is unbelievable. It's just unfreaking believable. Okay. So the 26th Amendment lowered the voting age to 18, and many states lowered the minimal legal drinking age to 18, 19, or 20. The states that allowed you to drink at age 18 were Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Iowa, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Montana, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Texas, Vermont, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. Okay? Think about that. Age 18, all of those states said you could drink. There were some states that they made you wait until you were 19, okay? Those states were Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Idaho, Illinois, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Wyoming. The single state of Delaware made you wait until you were 20. But I promise you that if you lived in Delaware, you simply drove across the border to where you could get your alcohol at age 18. Now, I remember looking into this, and what happened? There was Maryland and Virginia. They lowered the age of drinking down to 18, but that was for just beer and wine. So imagine this. 18 years old, you can stroll right into a bar. Now, for me, one of the biggest place I ever got my jollies in my whole life was when I was 15. I was 15, and I flew to Italy, and I spent 22 days touring Italy with a group of college students and high school and college students. So I went. It was some offshoot of the Latin class that I was taking Latin in 10th grade, and we got to go to Europe. And in Europe, you just walk into a bar. I mean, it's kind of. At 15, I walked into a freaking bar and sat down and had 3 or 4 beers with my friends, played some pinball and all that shit. Had a great time, acting like I was 21 years old, smoking cigarettes and drinking beer. And I think that over here, because they raised the age limit to 21, it's in a strange way, it kind of glorifies it. It makes it like that fruit that you just from the devil's own tree, right? You just can't wait to try it. They tell you no, but you can't wait to try it because I've been waiting my whole life to turn 21 so I can go drink. Whereas in Europe, it's like, kids don't think it's a big deal. It's not a big deal for them. You don't see any kids in the bar because it's always been that way. It's when they get older and they can accept the responsibilities for it, then they eventually find their way into the freaking bars and But I have to follow this up. All of those states allowed it. What was the year? That they? I want to say it was like 1980 that they changed it. What year did the U.S. finally make it 21 to buy alcohol. Oh, shit. My memory's not as good as I thought. 1984. In 1984, they finally established the minimum legal drinking age at 21 with a thing called the National Minimum Drinking Age Act at 21. So, once again, now this is up to you guys, and I want to know, you guys out there, who was fortunate enough to say that they went into bars at 18 years old. They remember legally drinking in their local bars at 18 years old. Put an X in the chat. Put an X in the chat if you were if you went drinking in bars at age 18, because color me jealous, okay? Color me jealous. My cousins lived in New Jersey. They were the same age as me, and they got to go drinking, and I couldn't. They got to legally go drinking. Willie Fix-It, you were drinking in Connecticut at 18 years old? Really? Really? Wow. I mean, hanging out in bars, Willie. Hanging out. I don't think you're old enough to qualify. Syllabor says, I did, but it wasn't necessarily legal, so. Trisha E. says that she remembers doing it. All Flash says, we were 17. Yeah. Make Karen Great Again says, exactly so. Like in Jamaica, it's no big deal. Because they always can. There's no due diligence. It's so funny that you bring that up, Du. I was just talking with my brother about that. Do you guys remember the movie Faces of Death? Okay, back in it had to be early 80s. I want to say 83, maybe. Yeah, 83, maybe 84, Faces of Death. This was a movie, amazingly, you remember the wonderful Mutual of Omaha presents National Geographic, and who was it, Marv Perkins? Well, I know his name was Perkins. Was it Marv Perkins? Anyway, okay, this guy was famous. This Perkins guy was famous. Mutual of Omaha presents National Geographic, and they would take you into Africa, and they'd show all these animals and in their native habitats, and it was really a well done, well produced show for the 1970s. His son, that guy's son, Marlon Perkins. Thank you, Val. Marlon Perkins. His son is the one who created the Faces of Death series. And I mean, these were horrible movies that showed people. They weren't reenactments. They were not reenactments. It was videos of people losing their lives, and not just people. I mean, all different kinds of ways to die. I remember. Only a couple of things really stick out in my mind. There was a table they showed in Morocco. In Morocco, there was I guess it's still true today. It's considered, it's like escargot or it's a delicacy to eat monkey brains. So they have a table with chairs at a restaurant, and in the middle of the table is a small round hole, and the table slides apart and goes together. And they take a monkey, and they put a monkey in there, and they close it around his little neck so that his head is sticking up and looking at all of you, and then they hand all of you hammers. They hand you hammers, and you beat this poor monkey's brains out. You bash his skull in so that you have fresh monkey brains. I believe it's Morocco. And then you get out your forks after the poor bastard is dead, and you enjoy his brain. I remember that from Faces of Death. But my brother and I both, of course, growing up with horror movies, right? I've shared this so many times. My brother and I were just horror movie aficionados. So when that movie came out, Faces of Death, my brother heard about it, and of course I worked at Entertainment Tonight, so I got an advance copy before it was even available in the stores to buy on VHS. I got an advanced copy and I brought it home. And my brother says, I can watch this, no problem. There's nothing on that. There won't be anything on that movie that I won't be able to sit and watch. Well, I had watched it at work, and I queued it up specifically to where this guy gets hit. I think it might have been Saudi Arabia, or it's somewhere in the Middle East there. They cut this guy's head off with a sword. Just Hassan chop. And the guy's head goes lopping off. And yeah, that was it for my brother. He couldn't watch any more of the movie. There's just something about seeing a guy get his head lopped off that kind of ruins it for ruins the whole rest of the movie for you. Yeah, the guy in the crocodile says, "Too diligent." Oh my God, yes, yeah, man, that was just brutal. Knock my socks off says, muted. I just ate. I hope you weren't eating in Morocco. Knock my socks off. Okay. Topic over. I've got to get knock my socks off back. Knock my socks off. There you go. No more Faces of Death. Okay. You had to bring that up, didn't you? Okay, so the next thing I want to look at is this. Flame retardant clothes. Flame retardant clothes. Now, when I was a kid, yep, here we go. This is it. When I was a kid, there was a big push. And this was even in the 60s, even in the 1960s, okay? Sears catalog, there was all kinds of push to have flame retardant clothing. And they made all kinds of things in, children's pajamas, the nightwear. Did you see that? Oh my goodness. So, I mean, I don't know how many of us worry about spontaneous combustion, but it never was a worry of mine. But seriously, when you would go looking for Halloween costumes, one of the big things in the late 60s and the early 70s, the pre-made ones with the plastic face, the Bozo the Clown, and Heckle and Jekyll and Casper the Friendly Ghost, those kind of costumes. It was, two legs and you stepped inside, and then mom just, on the back was wide open, and they just tied a bow around your neck, and here was this costume of yours, and then you put the plastic face on, and you were out collecting trick or treat. But flame retardant clothing was a very, very big deal, and I mean, they touted it's how wonderful it was, and all of these well, then they noticed that children were getting sick, children were failing in school, they were They were getting slow. I mean, they realized that the chemicals in these flame retardant, they had bedspreads, they had all kinds of stuff. This was supposed to be some kind of a godsend, right? Look at this. Look at the way they sold it to you back in the day. This is how they sold it to you. Big giant flames. Oh, you missed it. Let me see if I can show it to you. When kids could buy cigarettes. When kids could buy cigarettes. All right. This is a big one. X in the chat. Damn it. How many of you had your dad hand you a $10 bill or a $5 bill back in those days? For God's sakes, it was a $1 bill. It was a $1 bill. And said, Albert, get on your bike, ride down to the corner store, get me a pack of weeds, would you? Get me a pack of weeds. My dad smoked those Pall Mall red, non-filtered cigarettes. And I used to be able to ride down to the local corner store where they knew me, they knew my family, they knew my dad. My dad bought all his cigarettes there, and I'd give him $1, and the guy would give me the change, and I'd go riding back, bringing my dad his pack of cigarettes like it was nothing. If you did that for either of your parents or your grandmother, if you bought cigarettes as a kid for your parents, put an X in the chat. I want to see who lived the life that I lived, because it was commonplace. I mean, it wasn't like some big deal. And then, we all know what happened. But yeah, due diligence said my mom sent me to the store at 12 years old to go buy her cigarettes. Yeah. Bender to No One did it. Trisha E. did it. M1911 Zoom did it. Val Kimber says, I bought cigars at 11, but I bought them for me. He said they were for her. It was crazy. It was, can you imagine rules and regulations? Well, America was free back then, okay? We were free. We lived our lives to the fullest back then. There wasn't rules and regulations everywhere you turn. Now, I'm not saying in the slightest, I'm not saying that there aren't good rules and regulations, because my God, of course there are. And maybe it wasn't necessarily a good idea to allow a 10 or 11-year-old to ride his bicycle down to the corner and buy his dad cigarettes. But think about it. It didn't, to the kid, the kid wasn't thinking about smoking. The kid was doing a favor for his dad. His dad said, hey, keep a quarter. Keep one of the quarters and get yourself an ice cream. I don't know. It wasn't taboo. But I'll tell you where I think this is funny. And I had these myself. Oh, I had these myself many times. Let's see if I can pull up a picture. Here we go. All right. Let me see if I can I open image in new tab? Yeah, there we go. Open image in new tab. I got to take this over here and put this on the screen. Now, this could have been a problem. This one right here could have been a little bit of a problem. Look at this. Candy cigarettes. They had good old Roundup, which represented the Marlboros. These Kings, this looked exactly. These looked exactly like my dad's Pall Malls, okay? Lucky Lights. Oh, my God. Victory cigarettes. Target. Candy Stallion. Stallion candy cigarettes. And the thing about them is, do you remember those of you who actually remember these as kids? It was just, this chalky. It was just this kind of chalky candy that you kind of bit and crunched on. But the end had been dipped in like this red dye number 40 or whatever it was, but to resemble a burning ember. And kids used to just sit around with their candy cigarettes doing this. I mean, acting like their parents. They were acting like their parents, and it was so innocent that parents didn't think any big deal of it, and the kids didn't think, I want to be like my parents. I want to pretend I'm smoking cigarettes like my dad. I mean, I can't tell you how many boxes of candy cigarettes I bought in my life. Probably 10, But, you see a 10-year-old kid on his bicycle who, he's got the baseball card folded and the little clip on there from the laundry line. So it sounds like he's got a motor going down the street, and he's got a fake little cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Oh, my God. Lynn Winter said they were good. They were good. Oh, man. So at some point, somebody came along and they said, maybe this isn't such a good idea. Maybe we shouldn't be selling candy cigarettes to kids. It's going to make kids want to smoke. And, what's weird for me, and I'm honest here, I'll be honest with you. I've had a problem with cigarettes for the better part of my life. But I did not smoke. I didn't smoke a lick. Not a lick. Until I was 24, 25. I hated cigarettes. And the reason I hated cigarettes is I sat at the dinner table every night. My family, we sat in the same seats every night. We didn't eat until Dad came home. Once Dad came home, Mom put the food on the table. We all sat in the same seats. My sister spilled her milk. That's just what happened. And my dad, after dinner, would sit there and blow smoke in my face. He would blow smoke in my face, unwittingly, of course. But I hated cigarettes. Remember all the cool kids who smoked at school at 14 and 15? That was not me. That was not me. I fucking hated cigarettes. I hated them. And it's weird. I bought the candy cigarettes. Yeah, I bought the candy cigarettes, but yeah, I think you could buy cigarettes at 18. I'm pretty sure you could buy cigarettes at 18. Not me. Just did not interest me in the freaking slightest. No, thank you. No way, baby. That wasn't me. And then I started dating a girl who smoked. And kissing a smoker is like licking an ashtray. And it was like, yeah. Anyway, candy cigarettes. What else is on my list? I've got some good stuff on my list here. Really good stuff on my list. While we're talking about smoking, because the next thing we're going to is airplanes, but I clearly remember. I remember this like it was yesterday. 1968, my parents took me and my brother and my sister. We flew on a plane for our family vacation that summer. We flew down to Florida from New Jersey because that's what everybody in New Jersey and New York does. They go down to Florida for the weekend, and or for a week or whatever. And we went down to see my grandpa. He lived in Florida, and My dad smoked on the plane. I mean, I'm old enough. I am old enough to remember that they're constantly revamping the inside of the planes. They remodel the inside of the planes to make them look new. But a great many of the planes you're flying in are 25, 30, 35 years old, whether you know it or not, okay? But I remember my dad smoking on the plane all the way down to fucking Florida, all the way back, smoking. There was an ashtray built into the seat. And I still, when they outlawed smoking on planes, which I just looked this up, they didn't outlaw smoking on planes. They didn't make it 100% mandatory. 1990 is when they stopped smoking on planes. Doesn't that seem remarkably like yesterday to you guys? Even after they stopped it, even after they stopped allowing you to smoke on airplanes, the ashtrays were still there. They were still there in the armrests. Who remembers that? Who remembers that? Bad Zoot said, I could smoke at my desk at my first job. Bad Zoot, in the 10 years that I worked in Hollywood at Paramount Studios, which is all through the 1980s, I smoked sitting at my desk inside the building. We all did. We all did. It was when my dear friend... I don't know what I did with her picture. It was when Mary Hart got pregnant. Mary Hart, the co-host of Entertainment Tonight, did not have her first child until she was 42 years old. 42. She got pregnant for the very first time because she had her career. But as towards the end, when she realized that she was going to phase out her career and wanted to be a mother, she went to the heads of Paramount and said, "Look, I need you to ban smoking in the building. I can't be around it. My baby." And it's amazing that we smoked inside buildings into the 80s. And it was only Mary putting her foot down that stopped it. It still continued. I mean, when I moved up here in 1989 in Oregon, they had 1989, mind you, okay? They had already passed a law in LA that you could no longer smoke in bars. But in Oregon, you could still smoke in bars until, God, I want to say 95. Because I used to joke with my brother. I'd go down to LA and say, "Dude, you can't even smoke in your bar anymore. What the hell's wrong with this place? What happened to America?" Yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. The shit that we used to just pass off as nothing. Now this is a good one. This is a great one. Oh, I got to find this one. Oh, man, I got to find this one. Come on. Okay. Oh, they got to have this for me. There we go. There it is, baby. There it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. How many of you crazy kids out there? How many of you crazy kids out there had these stupid things? These things. They were outlawed. But back in the day, it was just like any other fucking toy. Any other toy on the market. Right there. clackers. Clackers. Those freaking things. So, bap, 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 bap. I mean, you knew that was coming? You knew that was coming. Did you really? So, I mean, we played with this like it was nothing. It was normal. It was fun. It was kid stuff. Click clacks. They were totally cool, and then they flat out banned them. They banned them in the United States. Actually, first they made them make them out of a softer composite plastic, but it just wasn't the same. It wasn't even close. It didn't make the noise. They didn't react the same. I mean, do you remember the kids who were really good with those things? It was like a machine gun. Crazy shit. Crazy shit. Now this one's nuts. This was nuts right here. Let me see if I can find you. Let me see if I can find this one for you. God, I knew. I made a list. I made a list of all the things that I have to turn my brightness down so you can see it. I made a list of all the things that was crazy. Come on. I gotta find this one. I gotta find this one. Here we go. There it is. Okay. All right, I'm taking you for a ride on this one, people. Taking you for a ride on this one right here. Look at this. This used to be an extremely popular soft drink. Ladies drank this shit like it was going out of style, okay? It was called Tab. It was called Tab. Who remembers this stuff? Ladies drank it. They drank that, and they drank Fresca. Who remembers Fresca? All right, so the thing about this stuff is the sweetener that they used. The sweetener that they used in this, folks, was called let me pull it up here. It's crazy. I mean, it's fucking scary shit. What was the Cyclone? I think it was like Cyclone sweetener in Tab. It was a DuPont product. Yes, cyclamate. Cyclamate. Okay? Cyclamate. Cyclamate. This was the sweetener that they replaced sugar with in Tab and Fresca. And it turns out that shit was so fucking bad for people. But they let them drink it for like 8 years, 9 years. I mean, they let it roll, and the FDA did nothing about it. They were going to them with cases saying, look, you know, people they're having liver problems. They're having stomach ulcer. This shit is bad. It gave laboratory mice tumors and all kinds of shit, and they just kept selling it. Oh my God, it's crazy. And so when they finally banned it, that stuff, that DuPont, a chemical company makes your sweeteners. The same people who make your silicone you put around the windows and your doors, they made the sweetener for your Tab. They replaced it with its sister, which is saccharin. Saccharin, which is equally as questionable. Saccharin, anybody remember saccharin? They were these little teeny tiny pills about this big, and you put like 2 of them in your coffee. One of my dad's friend's mothers, she had this cute little silver box, and she kept her saccharin in, and she would pull the little pieces out with tweezers. Poor woman, probably dead, probably killed her. It's probably what killed her. Oh, damn it, I'm running out of time here. We got to get to the good shit. High school smoking areas. Okay, if you had a smoking area at your high school, put an X in the chat. Raise your hand. I went to Granada Hills High School in California from 1975 to 1977, and we had a smoking area, and you were supposed to be 18. You were supposed to be 18, but nobody ever checked. And kids could smoke on campus. If you could smoke on campus at your high school, put an X in the chat. I want to know. Lynn Winters said she could do it. Val Kimber said they did it at their high school. Holy crap. Trisha E. said they did it. Just Jim said they had a smoking area at his high school. Make care. Can you fucking believe this shit? A smoking area at the high school. By today's terms in 2025, doesn't it sound absurd? But we had a smoking area at my freaking high school. Oh my God. Crazy. All right, this is the big one. I know a lot of you girls out there had these, and we talked about this once before, but from a different point of view. Years ago, 3 years ago, I did a whole show on, the cool 1960s toys. But I'm bringing this one back up for a different reason. The ever-loving Kenner Easy Bake Oven. And I know a lot of the girls out there probably had one of these things, because this toy has been around since, I believe, the early 60s. And who doesn't remember their sister baking you some Easy Bake Oven cookies or Easy Bake a cake? There was a little cake pan, and it was about this big and about that big around. But the problem with this toy, and the reason you wouldn't see it sold today, is that it cooked the food. It cooked the cookies and the cakes and the pies, whatever else. You girls probably remember what you cooked better than I did. It cooked with a 300-watt light bulb. Just a regular light bulb, but 300 watts. And kids were getting horribly burned. There were kids who had, they went to, you girls remember that you slid the little metal tray in, right? And wasn't there a push stick or something that you pushed it all the way out the other side and you let it cool? I can't remember. I remember the thing was green. I remember my sister had one in 1970. But kids would reach in there and they would get their fingers stuck. And what would happen is the little tray would go in and they would get their finger caught in, and the tray would wedge, and then you couldn't pull your fingers out. Meanwhile, kids were getting these second-degree burns. I mean, I read this article about how many ER doctors treated little girls for the Easy Bake Oven. And it was unbelievable. There was 100,000 cases in 1968. It was, I mean, by today's standards, somebody would have been sued. Kenner would have gone out of business if that was today. But back then, we just rolled, don't stick your fingers in here. Here's a new, take this thing and push it all. Here's a little push stick for you. It was fucking crazy. They were down to 100 watts in the 2000s. The original one, I'm not kidding you. I researched this, Spud. The original one was 300 watts, 300-watt bulb. Crazy, frickin' crazy. I'm a little sensitive to fingers. All right, man, dang it, I'm running out. Okay, this is a big one for me. This was really a big one for me. There are some things. I'm all for safety, especially in my line of work. I mean, am I a tight ass white boy when it comes to safety? I promise you that I could probably walk out onto my job site at any given minute of any given day and find something going on that was probably illegal, like a guy going up in a scissor lift and he's not tall enough, so instead of he's got the scissor lift maxed out all the way, and rather than go get a bigger one, he just jumps up and he's standing on the handrails that are designed to keep you in. Okay. Guys, construction workers just do that shit. Okay, that's what we do. We build shit. We don't necessarily think about safety and stuff like that. But there's a difference between being safe and there's a difference between being regulated. And I happen to fall into the lover of freedom category. For the entirety of my life as a young boy, and when I say a young boy, I'm talking from 5 years old to 20 years old, okay? From 5 to 20. My dad flew probably 2 weeks out of every month of my entire life. He was on business trips. My dad was always, he was in Texas. He was in Alaska. He was in Saudi Arabia. He was in Japan. He was in Germany. He was all over the country. He was a mechanical engineer. His specialty was, he worked for a company called Borg Warner. And they worked together with pump companies. Anytime you were pumping at a refinery or wherever, my dad's job was he could design a seal, a mechanical seal, that would stop any kind of leakage, whether you were pumping gas or kerosene or any kind of flammable xylene, you name it. He knew the correct way. I mean, I'm not talking little pumps like a pool pump, okay? Or like a, I'm talking pumps the size of this garage that pump into a 12-foot round pipeline that goes all the way through Alaska, okay? That's the kind of stuff my dad worked on. And he flew all the time, all over the world. And one of the things I always loved as a little kid was taking Dad to the airport, and we would park our car, and my brother and I would help carry, my brother would carry my dad's briefcase, I would carry my dad's suitcase, and we'd walk up to the ticket counter, and he would get his tickets, and we would all together, all of us, the family, go to the boarding gate, and then eventually his plane would leave, and we'd wave to him as he walked down the jetway, and then we'd watch. We'd sit there and watch as he'd get his seat, and we'd see him waving to us out the window, and then we see the plane back up, and we'd always wait for the plane to take off, and there goes Dad. There goes Dad. It was normal. I mean, to me, it was just what we did. But there was no TSA. There was no cavity searches. There wasn't any kind of restriction of your freedoms to be an American and kiss your dad goodbye on the cheek and say, "Have a good trip, Dad. I'll see you when you get back." And I kind of long for those days, because although it is possible that without the TSA and the metal detectors and all the shit, there weren't that many hijackings or plane bombings to warrant stealing the freedom that we once knew. 2001 came along and it changed the whole freaking world. And the whole TSA thing, that x-ray machine, when you have to walk up and you have to do this and you stand there, and they're looking at, they can see the size of your junk, man. You may as well just drop your fucking drawers. I don't like that. I do not like that. I much preferred the days of freedom. At least I can say I remember when. I remember when we used to be able to do that. It seems sad. It seems sad that we can't enjoy that kind of thing anymore. It's gone. It's gone forever. It's never coming back. Seatbelts. For God's sakes, freaking seatbelts. I don't know about you guys. To each his own, but I'll tell you a little secret. I never, ever, ever, ever wear my seatbelt. They're there. They're there in my car, but I don't like them. They come across my neck. They rub on my neck. It's a fucking restraint. It's not comfortable. And guess what? I'm still here. I'm still fucking here. And I've never worn a fucking seatbelt. It is Ralph Nader and the insurance companies and lobbyists are the ones who make you wear your seatbelt. Do you know that when I was a kid, in my mom's, my mom had this bitch in 1960, I think it was a 63 or 64 Oldsmobile. There's a picture of my mom's car in the montage that I play of all the different. There's a picture of the Oldsmobile that my mom had in there, and it had this beautiful swooping glass down the back of the car. And as a kid, I would climb up on that rear deck under the window, and I would just lay there. I'd lay there and look through the window, and I'd watch the telephone poles go by and the street lights go by, and no fucking seat. I'm still here. I don't know. Man. It's just, I understand wanting to be safe. And if you are someone who feels that you really need to wear your seatbelt, by all means, wear your seatbelt. But for me, I prefer the freedom of choice. Sounds like Devo. Yeah, that's not something you're going to see. Here's a good one. Do you know that in the 1970s, when I was a kid, and you would go down to the mall, you'd ride your bike down to the mall, and you go into the little pet store, and yes, they had the cute little puppies, and they had the cute little kittens, and they had goldfish, and they had all kinds of standard pets that you could buy. You would find the occasional ferret, hamsters, and of course, all the gerbils and that kind of shit. But when I was a kid, you could go to a pet store and buy a monkey. They sold, I'm not kidding you, they sold monkeys. They sold exotic animals in the pet stores. And it wasn't just monkeys. It was like macaws, these incredible tropical birds. You could buy that shit back then. Who remembers? Put an X in the chat if you remember seeing a monkey in a pet store when you were a kid. Okay? I'm not the only one who saw a monkey in the pet store when they were a kid. Come on. Put an X in the chat if you remember that. Monkeys in the pet store. I love knock my socks off, put some monkey. Put some Okay, see this? Just Jim. The All Flash. Due Diligence. They remember. Lynn Winter says she remembers it. How about YouTubers? My neighbor had monkeys in his trees in the city, says John Jones. I'll tell you a story. When I first started at Entertainment Tonight, I had been there maybe a year, 2 years. We did an interview. I think I've shared this before, but it doesn't matter. We did an interview with the Motels, the rock group, the Motels, and Only the Lonely. Okay, Martha Davis and the Motels. So we go to Martha Davis's house, which is just a quaint little tiny little home there she lived in Tarzana, and right off of Ventura Boulevard, just very close to Sepulveda. Not a spectacular neighborhood, but just a fucking valley house. That's all it was. We walked in the front door of the house. I'm there with the cameraman and the audio guy, and back in those days, we had a giant box that had all our lighting gear and our, Spudley knows what I'm talking about, lights with barn doors and shit, and Fresnel lights, all that kind of shit, back in the good old days. And I walk in the front door of this place. I'm carrying the light case for the audio guy, and I'm like, you guys smell something? Martha Davis's house stunk to high heaven. So we did the interview in the back, in the den, where you could kind of see the backyard. And she had, a little tiny eighth of an acre lot, typical valley home. When we went to leave, we went through the kitchen and exited a different way. And here, in the middle of her living room, she had an empty living room with beautiful hardwood floors. And in the corner of her living room is a monkey in a cage inside the house, pissing and shitting inside of her house. And the monkey would throw its shit through the bars across the room. There was monkey shit all, and that's what we were smelling. Okay? I'm like, this woman's got to have a fucking screw loose. I would not have a monkey in my living room destroying my beautiful hardwood floors. I don't know. Maybe I'm, wow. Maybe, call me old-fashioned. That woman's a frickin', every time I hear her music, I just think of that monkey. Folks, it's getting late. I can't believe it's already, gosh almighty, you poor guys on the East Coast. It's 11 o'clock. I got to get you to bed. I could talk. I had so many other. I wanted to talk about barometers. Before we had the internet, before you had the, before you knew what tomorrow was going to rain, if it was going to rain tomorrow on your phone, having lived long before these things were around, we had a barometer on the wall. And you'd get up in the morning and my dad would say, Albert, what's the pressure look like? And I'd say, looks like low pressure, Dad. Could rain. I mean, we were taught as kids how to read a barometer. That's how you told the weather. It was, I don't know. If you had a barometer, that's the last one. If you had a barometer in your house, or if your grandmother had a barometer in the house, put an X in the chat. I just want to make sure I'm not ancient. Okay? Did you have a barometer in your house? If you did, please put an X in the chat. Make me feel young. Would you? Okay. Thank you, Zoot. Thank you, Spud. I bet you could still read one today, huh, Zoot? I bet you know how to use one. Yeah, we. That's how we told the weather. That's how you knew if it was going to rain or not. Wow. All right. I got to get out of here, people. I got to go see if I can do something about my stomach. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. For those of you who do not know, during the days on Saturday mornings, right here on D Live, which is Zoso Dude 77, okay? There's no big mystery to it. It's dlive.tv/Zoso Dude 77. Tomorrow, I will be live on both Foxhole and D Live. And I play 4 to 5 hours of the best classic rock. Let me be your personal DJ, okay? Come and join me. I will probably start between 10 and 11 Pacific time tomorrow. And I go to the cows come home. I play no commercials, just classic cuts of classic rock that I try to reach into that bag and pull out nuggets you haven't heard in a long time. Come and hang out with us. Or just better yet, just put me on in the background of your day, okay? If you're changing the alternator in your car, or if you're folding laundry or whatever you're doing, your day is going to go better with your brother Zoe on in the background, okay? I want you to come join me. Come find me tomorrow. I'm going to be looking for you. For you. Yes, I am. Also, tomorrow night, I'll tell you one more time, Foxhole Squares, the new and improved Foxhole Squares. It's going to be freaking awesome. I wish all of you a wonderful, wonderful weekend. It's been my pleasure to hang out with you. You are all you are the best. You are absolutely the best. And thank you to all the people that donated to the show tonight. I see Lynn Winters, Bad Zoo, Willie Fixit, and others, and a host of others. Jayla17. It's good to see you, Jayla. Hope you're doing wonderfully. Over here on Pilled. Yes, Pilled. We've had some wonderful people donate over there. Let's count out their names. Girl Patriot, Just Jim. Just Jim went on a rampage over there. Due Diligence, Girl Patriot, Safety Net, and Due Diligence again. So thank all of you guys for your support of this show program. I'm cashing in my chips, people. I am cashing in my chips right now. Calling it a day. It's been a hell of a day. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be awesome. Come and find me. Come and find me. You will have a wonderful time. You really will. I'll see you around the bend, my friends. Stay out of trouble. Have a wonderful weekend.